Welcome to the Lipotrim Pharmacy program. This film will provide all the information you need to lose weight. It's quite likely you've already tried dieting. Whether or not you were successful with other diets, you can be assured that Lipotrim will work for you. However, for Lipotrim to give you the results you expect, you will need to follow the program strictly. Our best advice is to put aside any weight loss ideas or previous diets. Commit yourself to our program and prepare to succeed. As you may know, obesity can be such a debilitating condition that many people develop medical problems as a result of their weight. These related weight and medical issues must be managed together by a doctor. There are, however, many people whose excess weight is not yet associated with other medical problems, and it's for these people that the Lipotrim Pharmacy program has been made available at pharmacies. Lipotrim is a carefully devised program that firstly delivers you the maximum safe rate of weight loss, and secondly provides a weight maintenance program to help you with successful long-term weight control. To help you achieve your goal, the program provides information about how your body works and how it deals with food. The more you understand about your own body, the better your chances of maintaining your ideal weight. Some of this information may seem technical, but this film will try to explain everything to you as easily as possible. Understanding the process will ultimately be worth the effort. If you have any questions or concerns, please ask the pharmacist supervising your program. And if you're still concerned, contact us directly at Howard Foundation Research on 0800 413 735. We'll be pleased to support you. So let's find out how Lipotrim works so you can achieve your maximum safe rate of weight loss. In the UK, estimates indicate that more than 60% of the adult population is overweight, and almost half of those are obese. But why? We all know the way to lose weight is to eat less calories than our body uses. So why don't we just eat less? Can half of the population really be too weak-willed to cut down on food? People underestimate the human drive to get food when food is restricted. The mere mention of the word diet is enough to stimulate hunger. That intense feeling of hunger is perhaps the single most powerful biological instinct we have. Coping with food restriction, however, is not simply about willpower. The way we respond in our behaviour to food is similar to the addictive patterns of alcohol, tobacco and drugs. We appear to be particularly tied to a desire for fat in our food, yet fat in our food is particularly bad for our weight and our health. The good news is that we are about to tell you how to help control addictive food behaviour by stopping the substance of abuse. In ketosis, the hunger drive is suppressed enough to enable a dieter to cope with food restriction. Ketosis develops with strict usage of the Lipotrim formulas. Firstly, when your carbohydrate intake is low, and secondly, when the amount of calories you eat is much smaller than the amount of calories you burn. Your body then rapidly burns its stores of fat. Under these conditions, the large stored fat molecules are converted into smaller, more usable fuels called ketones. And when the ketones are produced rapidly, they build up in the blood until they are sufficient to satisfy most of the brain's need for energy. In turn, the brain's hunger drive is reduced and a sustained diet is possible. So you see, ketones are critical to the success of your weight loss. Creating the ketones is simple, by using the Lipotrim formula foods to keep us well nourished and stopping all traditional foods. And that's why Lipotrim is a total food replacement program. The term total food replacement is exactly as it sounds. You're going to replace all of your traditional foods with the Lipotrim formula food. Lipotrim formula food will help your body produce ketones. When you're using the Lipotrim formula foods, the low carbohydrate content allows your body to utilize stored fat and turn it into ketones. You will have ample calories from your body's stores and all the nutrients provided by the Lipotrim formulas, keeping you healthy, well nourished and enabling you to feel comfortable while you lose your excess weight. Here's some more good news. Total food replacement is not as difficult as it sounds. It's true you will need some willpower for a few days until your body shifts from burning food to burning its storage fuel, your body fat. Once this has happened in the presence of ketones, your hunger will be blunted and you will have less desire for food. So how do you start this important journey you're embarking on? A program that sustains production of ketones and makes it virtually impossible for you not to shed your excess pounds. Firstly, visit your pharmacist, where you'll be asked a series of medical questions to determine you're suitable for the program. During the program, you will need to return weekly to be weighed. We suggest you always wear the same type of clothing and try not to weigh yourself at home, as domestic scales are rarely accurate enough. Sometimes, even though you have lost weight, you may have some fluid retention, which can mask your true fat loss. Urinary ketones, which can be measured by a test strip such as keto sticks, are the indicator of how well you're sticking to the program and whether you're drinking enough water. One of the ketones is excreted in the breath and may cause a strange taste. If this happens, you can increase your water consumption little and often. Certain mouthwashes that don't contain carbohydrates or the special breath strips can help. At the heart of the Lipotrim program are formula foods, specifically designed to provide you with the essential nutrients that your body requires from food, but with the minimum calories. In 1987, the Department of Health acknowledged the safety and effectiveness of properly formulated total food replacement diets. It recognised too the different needs of men and women. The nutritional formulas of the Lipotrim program meet or exceed the Department of Health and European standards. It is important, however, that you take the required number of servings each day, no more and no less. The Lipotrim formulas ensure you lose your weight comfortably, safely and predictably, but are not medicines. However, if you approach them with the same conscientiousness that you do medicines, it will help you to succeed. The formula is based upon skimmed milk and is nutritionally complete. A variety of flavours make them palatable rather than overly delicious, so as to deter you from thinking about delicious foods for a while to help break your food dependency. Let's look at the products. On the left are the drinks, on the right a chicken soup, and in the middle a flapjack. The formulas are the same for men and women, but the amounts necessary are different. Women have 3 female servings a day, and men who have higher nutrient requirements have 2 larger male servings each day. Splitting the servings into more frequent, smaller meals may seem appealing, but can compromise the production of the ketones that blunt hunger and make you feel more hungry than you need to be. So make sure you use them as directed. The strawberry, vanilla or chocolate flavoured drinks can be mixed with cold water using the special Lipotrim shaker, an electric blender or hand whisk. Alternatively, you can use hot water to make a hot drink. The soup is mixed in the same way, but the shaker is not suitable for mixing hot liquids. When you've tried all the versions, try a mousse with the chocolate or vanilla mixes, just mix with less water. With the mousse, it is important to drink an extra half pint of water as less fluid is used in making it and the water must be replaced. Let's be honest here, the flapjack won't win any awards for its taste or texture, but this is essential. If it were delicious, it would encourage excessive consumption, eliminate ketones, and, as you now know, make you hungry enough to break the diet. Again, just make sure you drink an extra half pint of water when you eat each flapjack to maintain your fluid intake. They're convenient and they do satisfy the desire to chew after a long period of liquid meals. And like the mousses, they're great for travel. Oh yes, and all the Lipotrim formula foods are gluten-free and suitable for vegetarians, even the chicken-flavoured soup. Your mixing instructions and your nutritional labelling details are printed on the carrier bag that the pharmacist will provide you with. So the 3 female liquid formula meals provide 425 calories per day, and if your body requires approximately 2,000 calories each day, won't you run out of energy? The answer is no. Even when you are only eating the diet formula and no other food, you are not just living on the 425 calories per day from the diet. You are living on precisely what your body requires. 425 calories from the diet and the rest from your body's storage calories. We store calories as reserves of fuel in the form of sugar, which is stored as glycogen in our liver, muscles and fat cells. We also store calories as fat. The average person stores about 2,000 calories in the form of glycogen. A normal weight woman has on average 15 kilograms of fat in storage. Each kilogram, 2.2 pounds, is 7,700 calories. This amounts to about 115,500 stored calories in the form of fat available to supplement any dietary shortfall. An overweight woman carries the normal amount plus 36,750 extra stored calories for every stone. The more you can make the body use up stored calories, the faster you will achieve your desired weight. For most of us, sticking rigidly to the total food replacement program will lead to the loss of about 1/3 of a pound of fat each day. It would be possible to get all of your daily energy from stored calories if we did not require some essential additional dietary nutrients. These are the essential fatty acids and the essential amino acids, all of which are provided by the diet formula, as well as the required vitamins, minerals, trace elements and of course fibre. There are a few basic rules to ensure weight loss success on the Lipotrim program. The first must-do for achieving your weight loss goal is to be strict with the program. Secondly, commit yourself to total food replacement and use the Lipotrim formula to obtain the essential nutrients to keep you healthy. The third rule for achieving your weight loss goal with a minimum of discomfort is to drink a lot of water throughout the day, little and often. It is essential to drink at least 4 pints of water a day, as you are no longer eating normal food, which would have provided water. Your body needs fluid. If you don't give it enough, it may try to retain the water it does have. Water retention will make you feel uncomfortable, possibly lightheaded, and slow your weight loss. You might even become constipated. You can drink tap water, soda water or bottled water, sparkling or still, but it must be unflavoured. Do not drink tonic water, 1-cal or diet drinks. Substances other than carbohydrates are found in low-calorie drinks, which can turn off the mechanisms that produce ketosis. One of the most potent of these is citric acid, a natural acid found in fruits like oranges, lemons and limes. Citric is the most common organic acid found in foods, but any of the other organic acids in the body's cellular pathway leading to citric acid will be just as bad. Ignorance of this fact about the body's chemistry has led to poor advice that flavoured waters are okay, since they're citric acid free. Citric acid regulates one of the metabolic pathways that converts sugar and ketones into energy. The levels of citric acid in the body's cells determine whether the body uses fuels for energy or stores them as fat or sugar and turns off ketone production. You can drink as much black tea and coffee as you normally drink, but without milk or sugar. If necessary, add tablet sweeteners. Substitute any tea or coffee over and above your normal intake with a decaffeinated variety. Milk can block your ketone production, so avoid it. You can drink any variety of leaf tea, but not tea made from any other part of the plant, for example berries or flowers. Ordinary brand name varieties or more exotic flavours like peppermint, Earl Grey or Assam are fine. Alcohol is a no-go on the Lipotrim program. Save a glass of fizz for when you celebrate your success down the line. In addition to messing up the diet, any alcohol will be absorbed into the blood very rapidly and will be extra potent. To give yourself the best chance of success, you must avoid what we call picking. Picking sounds so innocent, doesn't it? No proper meals are eaten on the program after all. The total calorie intake is probably reasonably low, but it's a self-deception. Picking will lead to reduced ketone levels, the most uncomfortable condition, or even the complete loss of ketones, which can lead to dieting failure. Ketosis relies on a very low carbohydrate intake to produce ketones for blunting hunger and breaking your addiction to food. The end result is that you risk slowing your weight loss and making yourself much hungrier than you need to be. Glycogen acts like a sponge for water, and this extra stored water and glycogen is bad news when you step on the weighing scales. And be aware, the amount of glycogen produced can be greater than normal due to carbo loading, well known to athletes. And the extra glycogen with its associated bound water can add considerable extra weight. The other drawback with picking is exposure to ordinary food. Taste memories can become stimulated and dieting is significantly more difficult. With total food replacement, the attraction for most foods is reduced. The long period away from food can change the taste perceptions for food likes and dislikes, much like the experience that happens after people change from whole milk to skimmed milk in their tea and get used to the alternative. After the diet, when foods are reintroduced, most people find foods that they used to like now seem greasy. By not picking during the program, it's easier to adapt to healthy eating and become accustomed to the lower fat foods, therefore helping to keep your weight off. Please be aware that chewing gums or breath mints, even the sugar-free kind, are not carbohydrate free and can block ketone production, so avoid those too. Total food replacement may seem very strict, but it's all about protecting your ketones. They make it much more possible for you to succeed. The most difficult time on the program is generally the first week. When we don't eat, we get hungry. Our biological instincts cause considerable discomfort when food is restricted, but our hunger drive does not recognise the amount of fat we're storing. We can be a stone overweight or 20 stone overweight. It has no impact on our hunger. When we start dieting, we use some of our stored glycogen, and as we use more of it, the strength of our desire to eat can increase. Most people cope quite well. However, around 3 out of 10 people find that desire gets so intense, particularly around the third or fourth day, they can get headaches, irritable, or just plain uncomfortable. If that's you, stick with it. A headache tablet can be taken, but you're nearly there. It's from around this time that sufficient ketones are produced, at which point most people then become quite comfortable and can cope better. From here on in, focus on your long-term weight loss and goal ahead. The results will make it all worthwhile. You may experience a feeling of being cold. Most people who are dieting properly do so. Your body actually turns down its thermostat during a diet and produces less heat. Simple as it sounds, try to drink hot fluids and maybe enjoy your diet formulas hot. It will certainly help. A small number of people who diet by any means can experience some temporary hair thinning, and if you're one of them, you might become, understandably, though unnecessarily concerned. You won't go bald and your hair will grow back. Let's explain this one to reassure you. The process is known as telogen effluvium. It's the same physiological response that can happen, say, with pregnancy or HRT, with thyroid problems or a number of other situations. It's not due to any deficiency in the diet, and there's nothing you can put on your hair to help. In most cases of dieting, it's related to changes in the body as it responds to a restriction in calories, in the same way that you can feel cold. The hair that's normally continuously growing can go into a resting phase for about 3 months. After this time, it starts growing again. Some of the old hair can then be shed to make way for the new growth. When you notice hair coming out, the process is over, and the good news is that new hair is already growing. What can make it harder during the weight loss phase and beyond is the temptation to eat what others are eating. Business and social events present situations where eating unsuitable foods and drinking to excess seem unavoidable. At this early stage in your weight loss program, this may be a significant worry to you, but rest assured that your mind as well as your body is subtly changing. Ketones will change your attitude to the perception of your need to eat and drink with others. As we explained before, we're programmed to convince ourselves that we should eat, but it is important to resist. You'll soon find that few people really care whether you are eating with them. Don't be tempted to take a night off and eat to impress. Eating just one meal will eliminate ketones, and restarting the diet is far more difficult than you can probably imagine. Without the controlled feeding process of the Lipotrim program, an ordinary meal can replace a considerable amount of glycogen and water and result in a much larger weight regain than you would expect. It simply isn't worth it to break the diet before you plan to stop dieting. So, how do you overcome what might at first seem like a tricky social situation? Tell your hosts in advance that you are looking forward to being with them, but that you're participating in a special program and will be happy to enjoy coffee and water with them while they eat and drink. Who knows, you'll probably end up being the most popular person at the session because you're able to drive home. So once you've done your initial hard work and lost all that weight, what's next? The transition week from the Lipotrim total food replacement formulas back to ordinary foods is probably the single most critical week of your entire program. It's important for you to understand what to accomplish during this week. If you do, you will have a much better chance of being able to maintain your weight loss for years to come. Firstly, we want you to avoid having a tummy ache. Your stomach is a muscle, and any muscle in the body that you've rested for a long period of time will give you some discomfort if it's suddenly exercised. So, coming off the diet and suddenly eating a big meal isn't going to make you feel so good. Most of the weight lost in the first week of the program isn't fat. It's mostly stored sugar, the glycogen used for energy and the water that was bound to it. When you are not dieting, you must have that sugar, that glycogen, in reserve because you are no longer going to be living on the ketones. You're going to be living on sugar, blood glucose, as you were before. It's important that when you start refeeding, you put back that glycogen into the body in storage, stored back into your liver and your muscles and your fat cells. It is possible, however, that when you come off the diet, you can put too much of that glycogen back on. Refeeding properly restricts high glycemic index carbohydrate foods like bread, potatoes, fruit, cereal, pasta, rice and some vegetables. They will carbo-load and therefore won't do you any good when you first come off the diet. They can put back more than twice as much glycogen as normal, with a great deal of extra storage water, weight that you do not want to regain. And remember, every pound of glycogen that you stores with it 4 pounds of water. So you could come off the diet and have a couple of pieces of fruit only to find that you've gained more than 10 pounds of weight. The result is that your mood will dip, you'll be frustrated, and worst of all, you'll feel bloated, putting you at risk of eating to make yourself feel better again. We don't want you to do that. Instead, we want you to put back your glycogen in a controlled way. We reintroduce those important carbohydrate foods in a gradual and carefully thought out order over the course of 1 week. We take you through each and every meal. Basically, on the first day, men will carry on with the 2 servings that they've been having, but they will add a meal of ordinary food, usually including lean protein such as meat or fish, or a vegetarian alternative. Women will cut one of the 3 lipotrims that they've been having and add 1 serving of ordinary food. The carbohydrates that you're allowed to have will be the high cellulose types such as green salad. The second day you're going to have less lipotrim and you'll have 2 real meals. Meals very much like you've had on the first day. By the third day you can start introducing something like these starchy vegetables, some beans or maybe a potato. But it's not until later in the week that you can have the things like pasta and starches and breads and cereals and most importantly fruit. The refeeding information is provided for you in a detailed document from your pharmacist. Now, if you do that, you will put back the appropriate amount of glycogen in a controlled way with some water, and therefore you might be expected to put a little bit of weight back on. We're still going to be giving you fewer calories than your body uses every day, so that you're actually going to carry on losing a certain amount of weight during that week, even while you're putting your glycogen and water back on. Most people find that one balances out the other, so by the end of the week their weight is pretty much the same as it was at the beginning of the week. You may be pleased to learn that as soon as you start the refeeding phase, you can add milk or lemon to your tea and go back to low-calorie drinks. It's a good idea to continue drinking at least 4 pints of water every day long term. Most of us generally do not drink enough water. Once the refeeding week is completed, we need to plan what to eat in future in order to maintain our weight loss and learn to eat the amount appropriate to a lighter body. If we go back to eating the same as we did before the diet, we will eventually return to our pre-diet weight. As you might expect, Lipotrim has a carefully thought out system for helping you maintain your weight loss. Good weight management is entirely due to the balance between the calories we eat and the calories we use. With this in mind, our weight maintenance formulas are designed to be very filling, so that the amount of additional calories you are tempted to eat is reduced. The maintenance formulas are not meal replacements and not designed to be used instead of all food. They are a high soluble fibre food that helps reduce the overall glycemic index of any given meal, helping you to reduce the calorie content of the meal. Since they have the same vitamin and mineral mix as the strict diet formulas, they are very nutritious, so it's not necessary to be overly concerned about the other components of the meal. There are no drugs in the formulas, they are simply enriched foods containing soluble fibre that increases the time taken for food to be digested, which in turn leads to less desire to eat more. The more of the formulas you use each day, the less regular foods you eat, and the more your daily calories will be lowered. Your weight can either be maintained or even lost as you require. There are 5 varieties: an orange cream drink, a summer fruit drink, a vegetable soup, a chewy yogurt covered caramel flavoured bar and a chocolate whipped dessert made by adding fresh skimmed milk at home. It is worth noting that if you're planning to have 3 formulas a day, at least one of the daily servings should be a chocolate whipped dessert or a summer fruit drink. This will help provide enough protein intake. The maintenance formulas can be used by just about anyone, and there is no reason to expect side effects you wouldn't get from eating any other healthy food. They're available from the same pharmacy overseeing your weight loss program. A full list of participating pharmacies is kept up to date on the Lipotrim website, www.lipotrim.co.uk. And in England, Wales and Scotland, the formulas can also be obtained directly from Lipotrim. Just call the free phone telephone number 0800 413 735. Okay, so let's recap. It's important to remember that what we are addressing here is, in simplest terms, an addiction. And like all other addictions, stopping the substance of abuse is key. The beauty of the Lipotrim program is that it forces you to do just that with total food replacement. During the weight loss phase of this program, your everyday foods are totally replaced by Lipotrim formulas, which provide those necessary nutrients to keep you healthy while you're losing your weight. Drink at least 4 pints of plain water at frequent intervals each day. Don't have flavoured water, low-calorie drinks or squashes, even if they say nil or low-calorie, and avoid citric acid. Avoid milk in your tea or coffee. These interfere with those all-important ketones, those ketones that keep you from being hungry. Sweeteners in tablet form are fine. Continue with any doctor-prescribed medications unless told otherwise by your doctor. By following our advice and using the Lipotrim formula food as instructed will give you a much better chance of breaking that food addiction and losing weight. Women can expect to lose on average about 1 stone a month and men about 1.5 stones. And that, we're sure you'll agree, is a goal well worth aiming for. We wish you every success with your weight loss on the Lipotrim Pharmacy program. If you have any questions, visit your local participating pharmacy. A list of your nearest pharmacies is available on our website, or phone us directly at Howard Foundation Research on 0800 413 735. We look forward to hearing from you.